A good morning. Habari ya kila mtu. How is everyone? I thank God this morning for giving me an opportunity to see another day. I don't take it for granted. People plan and yarn, and we times and seasons belong to God. But I'm grateful to God for this opportunity to be able to even share and allow Him to bless you all through the things that He's teaching me. So yesterday I was thinking about when you feel lost and when you feel like nothing is working out, there's confusion and you're in a place where you're searching. And if you're a believer, if you're a Christian, for example, where do you go when nothing is making sense, everything seems blurred, and you just need something in your life that gives you order? And I was in that place. As I had shared in the previous video, I had 6 weeks of being at home and I was so busy with the baby, I didn't make time for God. I had snippets here and there, but that was not the quality, time that you make to just listen in on what God is saying. And so I started feeling like I was a bit lost and I just needed some clarity and I needed to start from somewhere. So I thank God now I have someone assisting me with the baby, so at least now I can make time to listen in, to just hear what God is saying. And I was asking myself that question. So where do I start if I feel lost? And I said, I think God put it in my heart that when you feel lost, the best thing to do is go to the beginning. And in my case, I took the Bible and thought, why not go to the book of Genesis? That is where it begins. That is where all the stories, everything that God did is recorded for us. So I went to the book of Genesis, and it's surprising that when I went to the book of Genesis, it's like all of a sudden God was putting a gush of, just air and breath and fresh air, and it's like I was feeling rejuvenated and energetic, and realizing, what, there's a God who puts order in the things that we feel are a bit disorderly or disorganized or unclear, or places that we feel are gray and we need clarity. God is able to do that. And let me just read for you my Bible. Genesis chapter 1 verse 1. It just says something very interesting. It says, in the beginning God created heavens and earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. When I read that verse, I kind of felt like God was describing me. Darkness, formless, the Spirit of God is not even in me. It's just hovering and formless. But there's something that it says in verse 3 that just lit up my heart. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. God saw that the light was good, and He separated the light from the darkness. Oh, what a beautiful story. I always read the story of creation, like that other story, those stories you tell children. But when I went back to just find myself, I realized that when we allow God to work in our lives, the first thing He does is actually bring light. And when He brings light, there is clarity. Because what disturbs us so much is when we find ourselves in a point of grayness, darkness, unclear situations, we don't know what to do, and just listening in and God saying, "Let there be light." When we allow God to come into our lives, when we allow God to come into our situations, when we allow God to bring us back, the first thing God does is He brings light. He clarifies what is light, what is dark. And He clears all this confusion. And just that short sermon, I pray that God will bring light and clarify what is light, what is darkness in your life, in my life. And the reality is that because God is taking us through processes to make us better people, some of the things he will allow to stay, but he will bring light so that we are at peace in knowing that even in the situations we are in, that God is in there. But to know that there is light in us, to know that God has brought his light, just gives me hope. It gives me so much joy. And I just pray that those verses will speak to you in your own special way. Because for me, it was such a breath of fresh air, sweet fragrance that there is light in my life. And that Philippians chapter 1 verse 6, God reminds us that what he has begun in us, he will bring it to fruition till the day of Christ. He just encourages us that we are in a journey, and in this journey, he will journey with us to the very end until he brings us in perfection on the day that Christ comes for us. Be encouraged, have hope, rejoice, and if you're there and you want to give up, let there be light in that situation. Let God intervene. Let there be light. I just pray that we continue journeying together. This is Genesis chapter 1. Just feel free to read through and just listen in on what God is saying, and especially speaking to the various situations that you're in for the glory and honor of God. Thank you so much for watching.